Hi, today I want to talk about the books that I read this year. Disclaimer, I am not a professional reviewer. I am here just to tell you what I read this year, what my opinions are on these books, and that's it. Okay? Most of these books, or pretty much all of them, are from TikTok. Yeah, I went that way. I was in a huge reading slump for about 2 years or a year and a half because I was constantly reading on my phone and I got tired of that. And a friend, she gifted me Fourth Wing, and I have the physical copy, and it was so fun. I actually needed to just touch a book and just flip through the pages and to smell the books. Oh, so nice. And I had a lot of fun. I'm not going to go too deep into the review with Fourth Wing because there are many reviews online, and I'm not going to just stay on that because so many people have talked about it. But the first book, great. Really great pacing, not a masterpiece, a literary masterpiece, but it's really fun. It's amazing. It's great fantasy, it's great world building. I like the lore. Yes, the dragons are so fun. One analogy that you may only understand if you've seen Attack on Titans, it reminded me of that in the sense that you start in a closed space, in a kingdom, in this case, a war school, and then you think that all that is out there is bad, and then you go out and realize that things are not really that way. I hope you understand what I mean. The second book, Iron Flame, that has pacing problems because at the beginning, nothing happens. For the first half of the book, nothing happens. And then from the, I think, half or three quarters into the book is when everything happens, everything. And it's great, yes. But I don't know why. In the second book, something happens to the FMC, Violet, that is really traumatic. It's a really big thing that happens to her. And that is never mentioned ever again. She doesn't have PTSD from it or anything. I don't know what happened there, but whatever. But the third book with the Isles stuff, the journeys between the Isles, that I found that it was kind of all over the place and you are confused for a lot of parts in this book. And that is intentional, that is on purpose. You just don't know what's happening or why it's happening. But I really liked, and that ending, I took an entire day to go deep into everyone's theories about what could happen next or why what happened. I had to take about a week to to get over that. Now after Fourth Wing, I read the Powerless series, I think. The friend that gifted me Fourth Wing, she loved the first and second book of Powerless, and she wanted to read Fearless with me. So she wanted for me to read the first two books and then continue the third book with her so we can buddy read together. Now, Powerless for me wasn't a good experience. The only part that I really enjoyed about that experience was the body reading with my friend. That was so fun. That was really amazing. And I got really into the story just because of that, just because we were feeding of each other's energies. I have notes. I have notes. I've made notes on this. Okay. I found the writing super lazy. I was reading fan fiction. I don't know. I haven't read many fan fictions, but that's what it felt like. Truly, not in the sense that it is bad. I mean, there are many fan fictions that are great, but in the sense that it was someone that had no idea what they were doing, and they just wanted to put a story into the page without really knowing how to do it properly. The way Peyton is sent to the trials felt really forced. The author wanted to find a way, whatever way, to just justify that Peyton was meant to go to the trials because that is the story. Uh, I did a tandem read in the first book. I wish I hadn't done that. In the tandem read, you do Powerless and then its companion novel, which is Powerful. and you read chapters as they are happening. So you are switching from one book to the other to get like the entire story. Now, Powerful is a book that I hate. And I never thought I would say that, but I hate it so much. It's so poorly written, so poorly written. It is really an offense. Truly, to the fandom, it is really an offense. And I guess it was made as a fan service. There are so many plot holes and so many things that don't make sense. And the characters, even though they are great, are so poorly written and with no sense. If you know what happens at the end of Powerless, there is no sense for Powerful to exist. Mind you, I read Powerless and I had no idea about the rumors that it was supposedly plagiarism with Red Queen because I've never read Red Queen. I had no idea about that. I did like the story and I did love the characters. There's one specific scene that I adored. And it is when in Reckless, Kai is looking for Peyton and she's hidden in her chimney, I guess. And he thinks he's alone. And she thinks that he knows she's there. And he starts talking to himself as if he was talking to her, but he doesn't know that she is there. Creo que me enredé, pero bueno. Do I haunt your dreams, plague your thoughts, like you do mine? Those are the ramblings of a madman because in that point he is struggling with a lot of things. I'm not going to give spoilers, but I loved that part so much. That was so sweet and so romantic. I imagine him in my head like he's doing this and just looking at nowhere, looking for her, struggling with himself and saying, "Do I haunt your dreams, plague your thoughts like you do mine?" Baby, poor thing. The letters that those I did like. Those I was like, I may not have liked how this woman writes. The author had many things that I did not like about this, but the author does know how to write someone who is losing their minds slowly but surely. There is another book in the Powerless series. There is Fearless and there's Fearful. I don't know if I'm going to read that. If I do, I'm going to read it with my friend just for the sake of us doing it together because that is really fun. And because I think it is about kids and I really liked kids, but I've heard people have not liked it. So I don't know. If I do, I'll let you know. Another book that I read, and I read it because I saw Jordan Fisher, a video of him reading something that happened in the book. And I was like, that sounds cool. I'm going to read that. It is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I had never read anything by her. This is the first book I read. And more recently, I've read Mate. Both of them are really fun. Really fun. And yes, they are very predictable, very cliche, very not very well written, but the story's good. The characters are great. The banter, the comedy, oh my god. I was laughing out loud so often. It's really fun. It is in a world where there are vampires, werewolves, and humans, and they all live in a civilized society. They live separately, but they all know that they live in the same world. They're explained in a scientific way. Like with time, mutations happened in the DNA and it separated us in humans, werewolves, and vampires. And the story starts with a arranged marriage between a vampire and a werewolf. That itself sounds so. In Bride, you have Misery, I think. Misery? Yeah, Misery and Low Moorland. And in Mate, we have Serena, who is the best friend to Misery and Cohen. So it is their love story. And it is called Mate. So you can imagine. Both books are really fun and they can be good palate cleansers between one book and another, or if you just want to have fun one day and not think too much, they're really good. I even liked the spice scenes. They were interesting to say the least. And the comedy, it is great. I was laughing out loud so much. Earlier this year, I also read the Twisted series by Anna Huang. I didn't like those books. They are just not for me. I didn't really enjoy any of them. I read all four and in just one day. I read Twisted Love in one day, and Twisted Games in one day, and Twisted Hate in one day, and Twisted Lies in one day. Can you tell that I had a lot of free time? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. They were just okay. Another series that I read this year was the Lightlark series. And some may say it's not great and not even good, but I did like it. I I want to read the fourth book, Crown Side. The first book, really predictable plot twist, and who says that it is not a predictable plot twist? Sweetie, you need to read more, you need to watch more TV, and you need to live more because it is really, really, really predictable. It's like there. There is a love triangle. There's no sense for a love triangle to exist and to be too drawn out because it is too drawn out. And in the second or third book, I think it's the third book, it's suddenly high stakes, really high stakes, just to justify that the love triangle is still there. The only reason that I still read it is because I love Aro. I hate saying that. Oro. Let's say how she intended it. Isla Aro. That sounds so weird. Aro, I love. I love him. He is so healthy. He's an amazing guy. Amazing. Not to say that Grimm is not amazing. He also is. But he's just another shadow daddy. And there are so many that he is just another shadow daddy. One thing that I honestly did not like, that made me mad and made me furious at times, was the necessity for the author to describe in length attires and dresses because she loves fashion. And yes, good for her, great, awesome, and I hope that they do that justice in the adaptation. Yes, I do. But you have 2 to 3 pages of a description of a dress. And then for a very important, not just one, most of them, very important scene where someone is discovering a new power, or there is a battle going on and someone is doing this amazing maneuver, whatever, and is destroying everything and everyone. That whole thing is a small paragraph, if that. This dress is this and this and this and this and this and this and then the side has this, and then the back has this. The shoes are like this. She threw a power and they all died. That needs more explanation, and it didn't happen many times. And then Skyshade. Skyshade almost made me want to stop reading this because you have plot twist after plot twist after plot twist in every single chapter. I don't think since the beginning. I think that happens almost till when you hit the middle mark, and then there's so much information and like something happens at the end of a chapter and you think that that is really important, and then by the next chapter that is completely forgotten, and they don't mention that for many chapters. And when you think that is going to get resolved, maybe it gets resolved, maybe they give an answer of what happened with that in the most simplistic way and it's forgotten again. They try to do too much in too little time, and didn't take the time to really justify these things happening. Skyshade feels like going on secondary missions in a game because you got bored of the main one. I also read One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. It's the duology of the Shepherd King. Great, great read. Great. I loved it. It has great, beautiful writing. Beautiful, whimsical, lush writing. Beautiful. I loved it. Elspeth is the main character in this book, and she has a creature inside of her mind. She calls it her nightmare, and they talk to each other. That banter is great. I love the nightmare. In this world, we this is a very minimalistic uh magic system, but really original. It is based by cards, as if not really if you were playing Pokemon or if you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. It's kind of different, but just imagine you have a deck of cards and you have the power of the card you possess, you know? Each card has a poem to describe it. In the beginning of each chapter, where we see a passage from the book the Shepherd King wrote. They live by this book. These passages are either about the cards or the magic. So basically, we have two books in one. One's our window and the Book of Alders, which is the book that contains the lore and the dangers of using magic and how to break the curse, etc. This proves that you don't need to create the most complex world and magic system and history to create a good story. Sometimes the simple works. In this book, the romance is a subplot, and in the second book, there is more romance, but between different characters. Keep that in mind. I liked the first book better than the second. The romance in the second book is great, but it goes in a different direction that I did not expect, and that kind of made me not really enjoy because I wasn't following who I wanted to follow. It is an adult fantasy, but does have the feel of a YA, of a young adult fantasy. Has one spicing in the first book that is not too explicit, but does tell you enough what is happening. In the second book, there's more spice and there's more romance. I really enjoyed this. There once was a girl, clever and good, who tarried in shadow in the depths of the wood. There also was a king, a shepherd by his crook, who reigns over magic and wrote the old book. The two were together, so the two were the same. The girl, the king, and the monster they became. Yes, you can get an idea of what it means and what happens, and yes, that's what happens. But just because it's kind of predictable doesn't mean that it's not done well. It's really well done. My favorite book of this year was Beautiful World. Where Are You? I had never read Sally Rooney or her style of writing. It really draw me to the story and these characters. And the thing with Sally Rooney, she writes really realistic characters, and you can relate to either one character or many, or the choices that they are going through. It is like having a conversation with a friend. And there are a few instances where it's kind of cinematic, I guess. That's how I describe it. For example, there's a scene where they go inside a room. And instead of going with them inside that room, we stay as the reader in the living room. And we see she describes everything in the living room. The dishes in the sink, how the couches are arranged, and how the outside the light goes from night to daytime, the smell and the air and everything. I had never read something like that, and I really liked it. I was like, wait, we didn't go with them. And this is the kind of book, if you are in your mid 20s or late 20s or even early 30s, I think this is a book that you can really enjoy. It really reminds you to enjoy the little things in life and to really appreciate your friends and your family. I have more to talk about this, but right now I forgot. Hello. So it's nighttime now. I need to finish this video because I got so overstimulated so suddenly and I had no idea why. And my mind was so foggy. I don't know if you can tell. And then I realized I got my period. Makes sense. So I didn't really say everything that I wanted. So maybe in the future, other videos, I will speak more about other books that I've read and about those books that I read that I talked about, but I didn't really give all of my opinions on them. This is going to be very hard for me to edit. So that's it. I'm just gonna leave it here. Thank you for staying this far. If you have anything that you can recommend or topics that you would like to listen to me talk about them, I would really appreciate that. Write me in the comments whatever you want about any part of this video because I had a few comments in the hot takes video. It was like 2, 3 comments, just that. But they were people who took the time to write huge paragraphs about real things. And I was like so touched. And I loved reading that. And I want to talk more and maybe do a video where I answer your comments. So have a good day, good night. I said that before in another video. I don't remember when. But thank you for taking the time and bye.